Hello, Kathy Anderson here, psychology instructor and managing associate of supplemental instruction. Today, I want to reveal to you a remarkable technique for taking notes that, by design, encourages retrieval and recall practice. These are notes you will use and use to resounding success. The notes method I'm going to teach you is simple, but mightily effective. You may have heard of it before, and you may even have some bad memories from your K through 12 years because of it, but I promise you I'm going to keep this fun and quick, and by the end of this talk, you will know how to take notes that you will actually use to predict test questions, summarize the gist, and engage in spaced retrieval practice, the holy grail of learning. Notes are meant to be used later, and not simply for reading and rereading, which may in fact be the worst study method of all time. I know some of you have probably had some success with reading and rereading notes, but as your course material gets more challenging, you will find that that isn't enough. So why use Cornell Notes? Because it's a time-tested system for taking good notes that you will actually use. By its very design, you will engage in retrieval practice to perform better on tests. If you have been to any of my other study skills workshops, you know that spaced retrieval practice, the act of bringing information up from your memory into your mind repeatedly across time, is essential to learning. Cornell Notes encourages you to summarize the information and simplify it to get the big picture, much like the Feynman technique, also in my study skills workshop series. And it asks you to question and analyze and engage in higher level thinking. That's a lot for a notes method to do. So let's think about the Cornell Notes method. It's so incredibly simple. Simply divide your paper into 3 sections like this, make the biggest section on the right for notes, the narrow section on the left for cues, and the bottom section for summary. In the notes section, write down what your professor says and what she puts on the board. You're aiming for gist here, as well as some key details. Use abbreviations and symbols. For example, when I was in graduate school studying psychology, I had symbols and abbreviations for long, frequently used words that took too much time to write out. Words like children, adolescents, adults, participants, development, psychology. This allowed me to take notes much faster. You're looking for a balance between quality and efficiency. The cue section is filled out after class. Later that day, write down keywords in the cue section. You can use these keywords later to test your knowledge and engage in spaced retrieval practice. Or you can go a step further and try predicting test questions based on the notes you took. This should take you a few minutes per page and forces you to engage in retrieval practice. Simply filling out the cue section is a great way to study. Then go back later and test yourself on the keywords. And last, the summary section. Here you will write 1 to 3 sentences summarizing the gist of the notes you took. This is your chance to put the ideas from class into your own words and transform the information into your own personal knowledge. Then, before your next class, read all the summaries you wrote down from the previous class. This can be challenging, but don't skip it. This is fantastic spaced retrieval practice. This in itself is great studying. I don't know how many of you need to hear this, but there is no sense in listening to a lecture or talk and then not practicing what you just learned. 24 hours after listening to a lecture, we will have forgotten 50 to 80% of what we heard. By 30 days post-lecture, right around exam time, we will have forgotten 97% of what we heard. Why does this happen? Think about all the things you see and do and listen to every day. The dog barking, the announcer on TV, students chatting. You don't want or need to remember all of that. So our brains let go of information that we don't encounter again. But when you encounter the same information over and over, like when you engage in spaced retrieval practice, you signal your brain to remember it for the long haul. So let's practice. I'm going to share just one slide from a lecture that I give my psychology students on the biology of love. I want you to pause the video now and create a Cornell Notes page with the notes, cue, and summary portions marked. Then restart the video and take some notes. And before we start, just a few words of wisdom. Do write down main ideas and some details. Use phrases and abbreviations and draw diagrams if you can. Don't write full sentences. Don't write down every word I say. And don't write down everything on the slide. So let's go. So let's talk a little bit about the biology of love. one of my favorite things to do. I want you to begin thinking about love as a distinct neurological system. And by that, I mean when you are in different phases of love with your partner, different neurochemicals are flowing in your brain. In the early phase of love, you're feeling romantic and passionate about your partner. You could stay up all night talking and you think about them constantly. You're energized and full of energy. This stage of love is characterized by natural amphetamines and dopamine in the brain. When I say amphetamine, what do you think of? Meth, right? And what does meth do to us? It's a powerful upper that gives us energy, makes us feel confident and alert, and sometimes even sexy. Isn't that a pretty good description of early romantic love? We don't have meth in our brains, but we do have natural amphetamines. Amphetamines also increase dopamine, which is also present in large quantities during romantic love. Contrary to popular belief, dopamine doesn't hit you after something you like. Instead, think of it as riding a wave of dopamine as you aim for something you like. When you're excited about something and are energized to pursue it, you're experiencing dopamine in the brain. When you relentlessly pursue your romantic interest, you're riding dopamine. But that emotional high can't last forever, so then we move into long-term attachment and monogamy. This phase is characterized by the neurochemical oxytocin. You may have heard of the cuddle hormone before, and that's what this is. Oxytocin is released by both men and women when they're strongly attached to their partners. It's present during orgasm, and it's present during childbirth. It bonds us tightly to our partners, promoting monogamy. Then, finally, we slip into long-term commitment. Have you ever seen an elderly couple eating dinner at a restaurant, not talking, just eating? Did you feel sorry for them? I used to, until I learned that they are in a very deeply committed and tranquil phase of love, characterized by tranquility. This tranquility is manifested via natural opioids. When I say opioids, you probably think of substances like Vicodin, hydrocodone, or morphine. These are high-powered pain relievers that help older couples who have surely experienced a great deal of pain in their long years of marriage feel a sense of commitment and peace with one another. Okay, I hope you took some good notes. Go ahead and pause the video now for just 1 minute and fill in the cue and summary portions. Remember, you're going to put keywords or test questions in the cue section, and you'll write a very brief summary of the main points in the summary section. Start now, and don't skip this part. So let's take a look at the notes I took on this lecture. You can see I took notes on love as a neurological system and on each phase of love. I used abbreviations like AMPHET for amphetamine and DOPA for dopamine. In the cue section, I wrote down 2 options. When I study these notes later, I can prompt myself with the phases of love, or I can prompt myself with the neurochemicals. Then I wrote 2 sentences for the summary, saying that love is a distinct neurological system with 3 phases of love characterized by specific chemicals in the brain. Did you write down things similar to what I wrote or different? What I wrote isn't the only way to do it. What matters is that these are notes you will use and use effectively. You can test yourself on the content by explaining the keywords without looking at your notes. You can reread the summary before the next class session. So just a reminder, the notes method I just shared with you has notes, cue, and summary, with the idea that you are engaging in spaced retrieval practice every time you test yourself on what you wrote in the cue section. You're summarizing the gist of the notes in the summary portion, and hopefully, as you get better at Cornell Notes, you will begin to predict test questions. All of these are sure to help you become the outstanding student, knowledgeable person, and attractive job candidate you are meant to be. You can visit the Learning Commons for more academic help, and please scan the QR code and give me some feedback on how you like this short video on Cornell Notes, notes you will use. Thanks for watching.